our virtual background set up. Probably the most important thing to know with Zoom is this share screen green button. It's in the center because it's pretty central to all teaching. If you're using a PowerPoint, if you're showing videos, if you're doing anything at all, it's really helpful. And it can be basically as though you are just presenting in front of the class while still lecturing, and they'll be able to see you as well. It's definitely the closest to normalcy that you can get on Zoom to a regular classroom. So to do this, there's two things you can click. You can either click the up button, and you can my suggestion is only allow one person to present at once. If you wanted to, you could have multiple people do it, but this would be maybe a bit confusing. Students could always share their screen if you ask them to. They can do it on here even if they're not the host, but I would always just recommend keeping it to one for the simplest time possible. Now, we click on share screen. There's two things we can do. We can either select our individual screen to share, or we can click share, and it'll just take you out of Zoom, and it will bring you right to a just whatever's behind your Zoom application. Now, I would always prefer to just share my screen manually, so I'm going to choose what I want to go to. So let's go to that box site I was talking about. It's right here, Tufts University Zoom backgrounds. You just sign in, you have all these choices. So that's great, and as you can see, the students will be able to see what I am seeing on my screen at this time, with the exception of anything related to Zoom applications, including this toolbar, which I'm going to go over, and my screen and their screens. It'll just show as though Zoom isn't happening, but they can still hear everything that's going on. So let's go back, and to stop share, we click on stop share. I'm going to show you how to pause your shared screen in 1 second, but let's go to the PowerPoint that I'm making for this presentation right now, actually. So, there we go. Okay, so as you can see, it is the same as a normal PowerPoint. You just click through, you can see it all. But here's a couple important things. Let's say that you had to click on something else, like maybe an urgent email came through and you don't want to have to end the screen because you're still lecturing. You could always click pause screen, and then you can click off the app, and your students are still going to see whatever it was that you were sharing before you pause the screen. It won't go to the next thing. You can then just click resume screen when you're ready to go and work again. You still have your microphone and video options up here, but you also have this great tool that says annotate. You have a ton of options from mouse, selecting things, text, stamps. The two most important, in my opinion, are the drawing and text. So maybe if you're trying to bring attention to something, you could draw, and you get all these different tools that you can use. And let's say I want to focus on Zoom right here. So I'm going to just I'm going to circle Zoom. I could draw something, that's one option. You can then erase like that, or you can manually clear with this bar. You could also type something. Maybe you want to ask, I don't know, it's not really that useful in poli-sci classes, I can't imagine, but you just ask something. And obviously you can change the color. Ooh, that was probably a bad choice. There you go. So yeah, that is what it is. You can undo things, bringing them back in. That is about as much as you need to know with the annotation bar. Another important thing I'd like to bring up is that if you were to go to, let's say, YouTube and share a video, let's see, here's from the Biden-Harris interview. We can still show a video on here. Now, I think you might as well just send it to your students in advance, but you could always, if you wanted to show a video during lecture, show it, and the volume will still play.
To Election Day. But even as Joe Biden and Kamala Harris stood on that...
And when you do that, it's like you're watching a video in class together. Now, I'm going to go to stop share, and it's going to take me back to the Zoom interface. And I'm here. So that is about it with sharing screen. If you have any questions, please let me know.